Showdown to shut down. Lawmakers in Washington are in the final hours deciding how to keep the government funded. Good evening, I'm Pearce Bley. Since lottery officials changed the rules of payouts for Powerball winners, the jackpots have soared, and so have the number of players wanting to score big. Now Mega Millions plans to follow suit, and the odds of winning big are getting bigger. Immigration rights and the rights of dreamers, especially when it comes to education and education costs, was on the minds of protesters who've been targeting Attorney General Tom Horne. Today, reporter Jessica Danielle Ramirez was there when Horne met with some of the protesters. She's live in downtown Phoenix with the latest. Jessica? Governor Jan Brewer established her task force on human trafficking in April 2013. Now, after 5 months of identifying key issues that need to be addressed, she's almost ready to deliver her recommendations to the state legislature.
An issue that will absolutely affect future generations in Arizona and the country.
Cindy McCain came to Governor Jan Brewer last spring with a similar message. She wanted to come down tougher on human trafficking in Arizona so that scenes like this don't play out the same way across the state.
This was such an important subject that we needed to attack and absolutely needed solutions to.
And while police crack down on trafficking on the border and within our cities, the task force has been at work since April trying to find a way to put an end to it.
We were able to go through many issues and look for recommendations that we can move toward the governor. And we're very much excited about continuing with our work.
The recommendations range from new legislation to stiffer penalties on existing laws. Although these are only initial recommendations from the governor's office to the state legislature, the task force is confident that they'll be passed into law without a problem. The task force worked in cooperation with states that already have tougher human trafficking legislation in place, and McCain is sure this is the right thing for Arizona.
Is critical to our children, and most of all critical to making sure that we have a safe environment and a safe community for our children.
The specific regulations will be released to the public on September 30th. The soonest that the legislature can move on these recommendations is the next time they're in session, January. Live in the Media Center, Pearce Bley, Cronkite News. Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton was in downtown Phoenix today visiting new residents of 209 West Jackson, a safe haven for the growing homeless population in Phoenix. The shelter, which has now been refurbished, will now house teenagers involved in Phoenix's 1 in 10 program. This nonprofit organization is dedicated to helping those in the LGBT community age 14 to 24. The mayor says that shelters working with organizations like this are key to giving homeless teenagers more opportunities.
And what this facility does, it provides stable housing for young people that otherwise would be living on the streets. And once you have stable housing, then you can build all the other positive things that they want these young people to build upon.
Mayor Stanton has made homelessness, both for adults and teenagers, a major priority in his first term. He stayed at a homeless shelter for a night in May to get a better idea of what the living conditions are like. Good news for a library in a small town in northern Arizona. The Cottonwood Library is getting a much-needed boost, thanks to some special funding from the state. Cronkite News reporter Angelica Brown traveled up north to see what has everyone talking tech. Cronkite News reporter Leah Durfee was at the press conference today, and she joins us live from the broadcast center with more on the investigation. Leah? One of the items on the chopping block if the deadline is not met is federally funded parks. If the shutdown happens tonight, areas like the Grand Canyon will close to the public. The Interior Department's plan in place is to end all activities except essential emergency response teams. Cronkite News reporter Marissa Scott drove out to Globe to see how some old-time movie lovers brought back the big screen for one more night.
Reporter Pearce Bley joins us with details. Pearce?
Yeah, Marcus, the 15-month investigation was conducted by a joint task force made up by local, state, and federal authorities. It started with a car theft investigation, and then they found that the case involved much more. This is video from a bus location that was part of the sting called Operation Tin Man. One of the sites they hit was a recycling plant called Hendricks Recycling at 9th Street and Broadway. Police believe this is where the entire operation was run out of. They began serving warrants at 8 this morning. Warrants were also served at several other spots in Phoenix, Tucson, and Coolidge. Officials say they thought they were just dealing with car thefts, but soon found the operation also dealt with drug trafficking.
And this should serve as a warning to anybody else who's either contemplating or currently engaged in widespread criminal activity. We're going to find out about it. We will catch you, and we will prosecute you.
Dozens were arrested this morning, and there still might be more arrests over the next few days. This is an ongoing investigation, and we will continue to stay on top of it. Live in the broadcast center, Pearce Bley, Cronkite News.